Hi everyone, welcome back to LlamaFinance today. So this is the third video for LlamaFinance, and today we're going to talk about REITs versus condominium. So in order to set the context right, today we're going to look at a condominium as an investment instrument, meaning we're going to get a condominium in order to get investment returns, a positive cash flow and capital gains instead of buying a condominium to stay inside. So we're going to see whether REITs or condominium is a more worthwhile investment instrument for you today. So agenda today is that we're going to look at the cost you require to buy REITs from the stock market, or we know as Singapore Exchange, and the cost you need to buy an apartment in Singapore. We're going to look at the fees involved, the transactional fee, and also the operational fee to keep the investment going on and running. And we're also going to look at risks and returns of these both investment instruments today and see which one can be the right decision for you. Okay, so first looking at the cost. So for REITs, at the left hand side over here, you can see that you can invest in REITs as long as you have $1,000 or upwards, and in fact you don't even need $1,000 because SGX has recently lowered the number of lots of shares you have to buy from the stock exchange. So now you only have to buy a minimal 100 shares from the market in batches, and 100 shares of example Ascendas REIT costs only $296. But of course, buying only $296 of Ascendas REIT is not worthwhile because, as for example, you're using the DBS cash upfront, you're going to pay $10 in brokerage fees, and $10 out of $296 is going to be 3% of the entire transaction value, and this is definitely not worthwhile. But however, today hypothetically we're going to apply $850,000 into both REITs and condominium to be fair, and this is because for the condominium we're using the example of a 2-bedder in Yishun, and particularly we're looking at 9 residences which is built on top of Junction 9 in Yishun, and this is a very good example because this condo has a good location. It's about 1 to 2 bus stop distances away from Yishun Central, and it's pretty popular in the market also. And the price, as I last checked on Property Guru, is $848,000. However, we're just going to round up to $850,000 for easy calculation. This is why today we're going to look at how $850,000 put into REITs market and also put into condo market can bring you what kind of returns. So let's look at the fees involved to REITs versus condo. So looking at this table, you can see that for transactional wise, REIT actually only requires a 0.2% brokerage fee. When you buy a REIT, you also have to pay a clearing fee and trading fee, which is pretty insignificant. So the total fees actually add up to be 0.24% of the whole transaction value. However, when you buy a condominium, for buying side, you actually don't have to pay any agent fee. That's why this is not applicable. However, you have to pay a stamp fee, which is 20k in this case, legal fee of 3k, and miscellaneous fee of 1k, which includes those banker fee or valuation fees that you pay to banks or certain other agents. So the total fees estimated to buy a 9 residences condo amount to be about 2.84% of a transaction value. So in this case, it's very clear that condominium requires a higher transactional fee as compared to REITs investment. But how about the operational annual expenses? So in order to hold REITs, you pay generally for most brokerages, you don't have to pay any custodian, platform or holding fees. However, for certain brokerages, you do have to pay a small fee of 0.1%. So in this case, let us be conservative and include this custodian fee 0.1% of $850 per year. But however, for condo, you do have to pay the monthly electricity or water bills, and let's give a conservative estimate of $200 per month, and this amounts to be 2.4k per year. And for the MCST, the maintenance fee that you pay the condominium management committee per month, let us give a conservative estimate of $300, and in total this amounts to be 3.6k per year. And after deducting all the expenses, the property tax is estimated to be $2,176 per year because the annual value, which is the annual rental income of this property after deducting the expenses, you still have the property tax of 10%, which is $2,176. So what I've covered are the operational expenses of owning a condo. So how about the returns that we can get from the REITs and condo respectively? So for REITs, we are taking reference to LlamaFinance S-REIT ETF, and last check in May 2020, it actually gives a yearly dividend yield of 5%. So 5% yield translated from $850,000 of investments, the annual returns actually amount to be $42,500. However, for condo, I've last checked from Property Guru that in order to rent a 2-bedder at 9 residences, the monthly rental is actually $2,300. Hence, the annual returns by multiplying 12 to this 2.3k actually gives us $27,600. So, as we recall for REITs, right, in order to get the real profits, we want to deduct off the annual expenses from the annual revenue. So, after deducting the custodian fee of 0.1%, we're actually left with $41,650 as the annual real profits. However, for the condominium, we actually have to deduct all these expenses on an annual basis: the electricity bills, water bills, the MCST fee, and the property tax annually. So after deducting all these expenses and the taxes, we are then getting $19,424 per year. And in fact, this is what we receive before income tax. So there is still another layer of personal income tax, because according to the Income Tax Act of Singapore, you do have to be taxed for your rental income, be it from your HDB or your private apartments. So that the real profits of a condo as compared to REITs can be very, very little in this case. So how about the capital use or downsides? Capital use would mean that the returns you get from the investment asset rising in terms of value or dropping in terms of value, which would then signify a capital loss. So for REITs, let's use a good 5-year time frame, okay? Means 2015 to 2020. So for REITs, we're going to use the reference to FTSE Straits Times REIT Index, okay, which basically a basket of 37 REITs, and this actually gives a good representative of the REIT performance in SGX. So for 5 years, okay, REITs has dropped in value by 3.12%, and this is largely due to the COVID correction. And for condo, I actually took this data from Data.gov.sg. So basically, non-landed private apartment value, okay, from 2015 Q1 to 2020 Q1, it has actually gave a 5% gains. Okay, but however, we know that there is this COVID and it's leading to certain economic recession and market downturns, and property prices tend to be lagging in comparison to the stock market. So yeah, for now, okay, as of 2020 Q1 is 5% gains. However, if we look at the overview, the annual use of about 5% we can get for REITs, and the operational gains actually far outweighs this 3.12% loss compared to the 5%, because REITs give a larger amount of returns every year in dividends. And as for the REITs, these two instruments does carry their own risks. So for REITs, you do carry market risk, meaning because it's so liquid, it's traded on a stock exchange. So any shocks from the global news, or like the US-China trade war, etc., or any interest rate changes of the US Federal Bank, is going to lead to the price shocks or changes in the REIT market. And management REITs are basically managed by all the various managers like CapitaLand, Fraser's Property, etc., to name a few. So the performance really largely depends on how the management acquire, divest, and manage the properties to give you the income, and also relies on the corporate actions, because REITs can generally raise funds from the capital through rights issuance or preferential offerings, and all these actions often will dilute the shareholders' value. And yeah, once again, as mentioned, there's interest rate risk, because REITs prices are going to be affected by the changes in interest rate of the US Federal Bank and the Euro Bank, or People's Bank of China, which is the China Central Bank. However, for condo, the risk is that you are actually you have to pay the annual income tax. Okay, this is a form of tax free, I would say. And for condo, another downside is that when you sell off the condo and you want to get the capital gains, you actually have to pay because now you are the selling side. And sellers of private apartments in Singapore tend to have to pay this 2% commission to the property agents. So let's look at the strengths of REITs versus condo. So as we saw the data previously, we know that condo is more stable in terms of price movements. And in fact, property prices are generally known to be lagging from the stock market. So stock market's prices would fall, followed by property, and hence condo generally has a more stable price movement. And owning a condo, it gives you the sense of owning a condo. You feel proud and you're able to see and touch, or even stay in a condo if possible. But if you own REITs, you do not get to feel that you own the REITs. In fact, the most you get from REITs is just the capital gains and the dividend payouts. And when you buy a condo, you can actually borrow more easily to buy a condo, meaning you just need a 20% down payment to buy the condo. And however, for REITs, you actually have to conduct a share financing. And comparing taking a loan to buy shares or taking a loan to buy a condo, taking a loan to buy REITs will result in the interest rate, according to the markets, about 3%. But if you were to borrow to buy a condo, the interest rate or the mortgage rate is only about 1 to 2%. And however, when you buy a condo, you can really pick the location of the property, the style, the direction its faces, and etc. You can really customize what kind of property you want to own. However, REITs, by buying into a single REIT, actually automatically gives you diversification because REITs own a portfolio of properties, and this is a kind of automatic diversification you're getting if you invest into REITs. And interestingly, when you invest in the REIT, the dividends, or should I say the distributions from the REIT, is actually not taxed at all in Singapore. However, for rental income, as I mentioned, is going to be taxed as part of your personal income. And of course, when you invest into REITs, generally you require lower amount of effort to invest in REITs. So basically, you watch YouTube videos, you read blogs to learn more about REITs, and you follow on their quarterly financial results and read the investor presentations and to know more knowledge about REITs to decide whether to invest in them or not. However, if you want to buy a condo, you do have to conduct meetups, go for property viewings before you and visit the banks to get a loan, etc. There's generally more effort and more moving around if you want to buy a condo. So I hope this video has taught you something and it can actually help you to decide whether you want to invest into REITs or invest into a particular condominium. But once again, if you have more than $850,000, if you have $10 million in Singapore, it really doesn't make too much of a sense for you to buy multiple condominiums in Singapore because of the additional buyer stamp duty. Okay, the tax rate is pretty steep, and as you buy more and more properties in Singapore. Okay, so I hope this video has given you something. I'd like to give thanks to all these websites that help in the creation of this video. Once again, thank you. Please remember to click like if you find this video useful, subscribe and share this video to your friends if you know anyone that would like to watch this video. So, thank you.